before they showed up. Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Tony. On my this direction is Ondine, and on this direction is Blanche. I'm gonna have them introduce themselves, but first, let you know that we're talking about calming techniques tonight. So if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. You can also go to our website and check out the page and ask questions anonymously there. But I think for calming techniques, we should be able to ask all the questions in the comments, and that should be good. Hi, Nadia. Thank you for joining us tonight. So before I start and you guys introduce yourselves, I'm going to ask you a question. And so we did some interviews. Diana and I did some interviews for a position we're hiring for. And the question we opened up with was really out there. And it was, if you could have a free sample of anything in the world, what would it be and why?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So because you said something, Blanche, you're going first. What's it gonna be?
I haven't a clue.
A free
Sample of anything.
Of anything. It can be anything. We had some really great answers, so I'm interested in hearing what you guys got. What you think.
I would love to have a free sample lesson in motorcycle riding.
Oh, we can arrange that. That's easy. I've got you covered, Blanche. You just give me a call and let me know the day and time, and I will be there. So how about you?
I checked schools.
Yeah, but who needs schools when you have friends with motorcycles, right? For lessons. I'm not encouraging anybody to drive their motorcycle illegally on the road, because I'm all about rules. Ondine, what would your free sample be?
It's funny, I went from blank to thinking about a whole bunch of things. And I think something I've always wanted to do and I haven't been able to witness yet is watch the turtles being born. That's what I would like. A free sample of that experience. For me, it's a free sample of an experience than an object, you know?
All right. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I don't have a free sample that I can think of, and now I'm completely drawing a blank of what everyone said. And as far as experiences, I'm gonna run with your start there. I think I would like a free sample of enough energy to ride for a full 24 hours on my motorcycle without stopping for gas. Because my motorcycles both have very small gas tanks, and I have to stop on one every 30 miles, and the other one I can go 70 miles or 80 miles. So I'd love to be able to just ride nonstop just to see how far I could go and what would work. Just so we know, we got Miles joining us. Thanks for joining us, Miles. Hella is also here. Thank you for joining us, Hella. And Nadia says they would like a free sample of shawarma. This is also a good one. I'm all about that. So these are great. Yeah, food. I'm all about food. I love eating, so I am in full support of that. So, hi, Tamara. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the comments. And once we get started, if we have a backlog, that's great. If not, we'll have things coming up. So, I want to know who you are. I've done things with Blanche before, so I'm going to let her start. And then I tricked you on that one. I'm going to let Blanche start. Yes. Let us know who she is, where you're coming from, and where you're speaking, what you're going to be bringing to this conversation about calming techniques. And then we'll go with Ondine, and then I'll say where I'm coming from here as well.
Okay. Well, I'm part of the staff at AMI-Quebec. I do intake and I'm a counselor. And so my tangent is going to be with mindset combined with body awareness.
Okay.
And for mental health.
Okay. Perfect. And so I know where, and this is a very leading question here. I know Ondine is coming from a specific practice point. Where you, like, are you coming from a specific like view of practice that like someone could name, for example, or are you just coming from I am
Okay.
Blanche and this is all I do?
Okay. Well, for me, I discovered Qigong in like 2016
Okay.
for physical pain
Okay.
and pain reduction, and that worked wonders to get the energy flowing through the body, releasing tension,
Okay.
releasing fascia.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Can
So
you
yeah,
spell that
that's
for
fine.
everyone who is at home on their computer and they want to type it into Google right now and want to know
It's
what it is so they can get an
for
advanced?
sure.
Yeah.
It's Qigong.
And it's Qigong.
Qigong.
Qigong is how it's pronounced.
Yes.
All right.
Like a
So
gong.
like a chi, like the chi in the world, that's a thing, an energy, I think. And then,
Energy.
yeah, see, I'm
And a
getting there. And
boom.
then a gong. All right. Perfect. So Ondine, who are you? Where are you coming from? And like, where are you speaking from in this and bringing to the table tonight on our calming techniques discussion?
So hi, I'm Ondine. I'm a yoga teacher and I'm also an artist, which I'm not sure if you knew.
I did
So
not know
I
that.
teach,
That's
yeah,
exciting.
I teach yoga to adults and children, and I teach art mainly to children and sometimes adults.
Okay.
This year, though, it's been only yoga. There hasn't been much art.
Yeah.
The studio is closed,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I've been practicing yoga for, it'll be my 25th anniversary this
Wow.
August, which is very exciting.
That
Wow.
is very
Yeah.
Cool.
exciting.
And I've been teaching. I've been a teacher now for almost 13, 14 years.
Wow. Okay.
I became a teacher not to actually teach, but because I wanted to learn more about the practice. And it was something that just happened quite easy for me, the
Okay.
whole experience that it sort of happened. I was an art teacher that also became a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
I started practicing yoga when I was pregnant,
Okay.
and I didn't want to be a nervous, anxious mother
Okay.
like my mother was. And so I walked into the yoga studio for that reason, to find some calm.
That's great.
And yeah, and it's definitely a journey, but it's definitely worked. You can ask my 24-year-old daughter, and she's very grateful that I stepped on the mat 25 years ago.
That's great.
Nice.
And
So
I work for myself.
okay.
I have
Yeah.
my own home studio, a
Okay.
small little studio where I can fit up to 8 people. Been practiced, like I said, teaching for a long time. I used
Yeah.
to teach in the big studios, and as my practice developed and as my teaching skills developed, I realized that a small space is the way to go,
Yeah.
especially if you want the right attention,
That
a
makes
little more
complete
cozy.
sense. Yeah. And what
Yeah.
neighborhood is your studio in?
I live in Montreal West.
Montreal West. Okay. At the end
Yeah,
of this,
near
I will
NDG.
be adding Ondine's contact information into the description of this video, and so that way you can click on it and find out everything you need to know about her practice, and you can, reach out to her if you are interested in yoga in Montreal West. So just so that way everyone
Yeah, now on
that
Zoom also, right? Which is
yeah,
great.
exactly, right? Like everyone is like
Online.
doing all kinds of things. So you two are coming from like very like specific, not specific, but like I guess like I don't know how to say it. I guess they're mindsets and practices that have been developed over centuries, essentially. They're not things that are just like, they're like actual things that people have like steps and stages, and like there's structure to it. Our sound is low. If anyone has any problems with sound, I'll turn up our sound a little bit. If you could let me know if we're still low. I've turned it almost maxed out, so I can't get much louder than that, just so you know. But if that's, let me know if it's still low. But so
Do I need to raise my volume,
no,
Tony?
you're okay. You're okay. You're actually, I think,
Okay.
the loudest one that I can hear in my headphones. I can
Okay,
hear
so I will lower.
No, you're good.
Is this better?
You're good. We have also someone else saying
Okay.
all is good. I turned it all up in the
Okay.
like little bars that I've got here. I turned them up like 20%, just in case. I guess the last one was very, very loud, so this one's a little bit quieter. Anyway, so you guys are coming from like established practices of schools of thought. That's the words I was looking for, schools of thought. So I don't do that. I don't have calming techniques that I follow. I don't really follow mindfulness in the like a traditional sense of like sitting down and having a time to like relax. I will be coming from a place where I do things with my hands. I keep myself busy. I build things, I make things, I work on my motorcycle, I work on my car. I tried to do art. I wasn't good at it, and that was stressful and frustrating for me. I still do art, but it's not good. But it's like, so this is where I'm coming from in terms of like calming techniques that I have. I am not a calm person. I am very high energy. So this is a very foreign conversation and topic for me. And so I'm just telling everyone where I'm coming from.
Could I ask you a question?
Absolutely. And this will be a great way for you to tell me that I am a calm person.
Yeah, do you find when you work on your bike, do you find that calming?
Yeah, absolutely. When I'm there, I'm focused. So, I'm in the, like people call it the zone. Yeah,
you're in the zen.
Right?
The zone.
Yeah,
exactly.
The zone, zen, however you want to word it.
Yeah, you're in the now.
I'm in the now. Like that's what's
present
on my
moment.
Mind. If I need to not worry about stuff, and if I'm feeling like stressed out, I go to my workshop, I go to my garage, and I'm like, all right, what am I working on today? And that's all that matters for that hour. And
exactly. So those are your tools, and I personally feel that it works the same.
Yeah, and I think this is a great way of like starting this discussion, is that everyone is coming and does different things that works for them, and everyone has a different way of doing things. And I know that like when I want to like last night, I was super stressed out. I was like, it was 6:00 and I was like ready to eat dinner, but I was too stressed out to start making dinner. So I like hopped on my motorcycle. I rode down to the river. I rode along the river.
Oh, nice.
And then I like got on the highway and probably went too fast. Got off the highway, got food, came home. And that was like my reset. I was like, all right,
exactly.
I'm not stressed out. I'm like, this is good. So like, I'm interested in hearing like what kinds of things that looks like in each of your practices, right? Like, so that's like my thing. And Hella said just a minute ago, I put it on the screen, they did that she does gardening, meditation, and I'm getting ahead of myself here. Tamara says she does gardening, and that's actually something that I also started doing this year, and it's been awesome. It's been really great.
Me too.
Cool.
So I'm interested in hearing, let's start with yoga. So like how would like something like that, like what I just described, be in yoga? What would that look like? Like what would like being like kind of like stepping away? Like in our discussions earlier, we talked about on the mat and off the mat. Those were like 2 times. So let's talk about off the mat, because right now we're talking about trying to like relax in like a setting that is not necessarily a structured place.
Yes. So yes, there's the structured way where you sign up for a class, you go once a week, maybe twice a week, and slowly your practice develops.
Yeah.
Very simple. And then there's, let's say right now, I need a calming technique, and I'm going to look through the yoga tools.
Yeah.
So number 1 is always been the breath.
Okay. Just
finding your breath.
Yeah.
And, you know, in some ways an obvious answer to anybody who pays attention to what's going on in yoga. But I have to say, I don't necessarily know if that's the right thing for everybody, because very often focusing on your breath can make it worse.
Okay.
Make your anxiety or whatever's going on, you're not ready. You know, I'll have so many teachers of mine that have said in the past, you know, if you can't sleep at night, lie in bed and breathe. And very often
that sounds like my worst nightmare.
Exactly. You know, so, and it's exactly. And I'm not even though of course the physical practice is important, I'm not a 100% a physical, the poses teacher. I do bring in the breathing and forms of meditation and focusing on being in the moment, so on and so on. But I'll tell someone who can't sleep at night, maybe do some abdominals. Get your body a little tired.
Oh, wait a minute.
So that you can then actually settle into your breath and feel your breath take over. Okay. So instead of you controlling your breath. Let your breath control you.
Okay.
So that's a complete different way to see it. And another way is just feeling your feet on the floor,
Yeah.
just feeling the ground beneath you,
Yeah.
feeling it support you. Very simple.
I've definitely like the feet on the ground is definitely a technique that I've worked with youth who are in a moment of like almost crisis and are really agitated in school. I'm like, all right, put your feet on the ground and push down,
Yeah.
sit down and just push on the ground and focus on that right now. And that
Yeah.
really, like, I've found that really helps. It's just interesting that
Yeah.
you mentioned that as like one of the like, it's like grounding, I guess, but yeah, it's like, all right, it gives you
Exactly.
Yeah.
something to focus on that you
And
can
it's
do.
always there wherever
Yeah.
you go.
That's
I
amazing.
can say, I can vouch, the earth is there.
Well, unless you're an
It's always
astronaut.
there. Even on the 100th floor, it's still
Yeah.
there. There's still the gravitational pull.
Yeah.
There's still, we're not floating up into the air, at least at this moment. And so it's just, it's always there. It's an easy access. But the same thing with the breath. The
Yeah.
breath is always there. It's always there. I consider my breath my best friend. I always say that it's always there for you.
Yeah.
It supports you, and it's honest because it'll show you what's going on.
Okay.
If your breath is staticky, if your breath is jumping, you know what's going on.
Yeah. So Blanche, now
Yes, Tony.
what about you? What do you think? Like, what are some of the ways that you, and it either in your own like personal life or in Qigong? I'm gonna try to. By the end of this, I'll have it for sure. We've been talking about Qigong for over a year at least between ourselves, and I still am trying to make sure I say it right. So how like what are the different ways that you would like recommend of like in the moment of like calming down and like getting back in touch with like now?
So for me, I use it for in between sessions. If let's say I'm to just come into presence with a client
Okay.
from an aligned place. So I use tension releasing kind of exercises
Okay.
and grounding exercises. So I do like the idea of the grounding that you're talking about. And in Qigong, there is a movement where you get on your heel, you lift and go down on your heels, and you lift
Okay.
and go down on your heels several times. And that gets the energy moving through the body. It gets the organs moving
Okay.
and starts to create some release of tension.
Okay.
So
So you
the
said-
grounding can be physically actually moving.
Okay. You said grounding, and then there was another thing, and I should have wrote it down. Grounding and something else.
What did I say, Ondine? I don't remember what I said.
You said, oh my goodness.
You did. It's true. There was a second thing.
There was a second thing, and I was going to ask, could you give an example of that? Because I was like, oh, we talked about grounding, so that's okay, but then I forgot what you said. Goodness gracious. It'll
So
come
did
back.
I.
Maybe someone in the comments.
Something of coming into the present moment.
Well, well, there is a coming into the present moment, but it's to get the energy moving. So you
Tension
the
releasing.
movement,
Yes, hold
the
on, we got
tension
it.
releasing.
We got it.
Okay,
Tension,
tension
Francesca.
releasing.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Francesca.
Thank you. Tension releasing. So we have grounding and tension
it's-
release. So can you give me some
so
examples of
I-
that? Because I immediately think of my jaws
This
like
is
super
so-
tight right now.
Well, I'll show you. Not with the jaw. I'll show you two things, but I need to get up to do it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can see me. Okay.
Sure.
So here we are. So let's say you're inhaling. So there's always breath involved,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna lift.
Do it.
Okay. So there's always breath involved, and when you inhale and you move your hands up, and you hold, and then you start bleeding.
Okay.
And then you do it again, and then you bleed. Those four. You do it again.
Four. Okay, so it's very physical what you're saying.
And then
is
what?
tension releasing.
very, very physical. And then you just kind of swipe. It's like you're clearing the residue of that tension.
Okay.
Okay, so what that does is the tension and the releasing allows you tense every part, every cell of your body. So you can tense your jaw and so on. But then when you're bleeding out, you're releasing the tension in the body. Yeah. That's one way that works extremely well. When it gives me a just nice little buzz when I do that. Very quickly. I get a natural high very quickly from that one.
Interesting. So
I encourage you to do that.
That one may be not something that I would recommend doing like on the metro. But I could see like a time and a place for something like that, like where it would definitely be like a good way to like, it helps you focus and get back into where you're at and do what you're doing and focus on everything. And also brings in the breathing part that Ondine said earlier as well, is like, okay, you're breathing. I noticed the biggest thing that I noticed about you was not only the movements, which were really like, you were like tough, you were like ready to fight somebody. But you were like, it was the breathing. You were like, you take in a deep breath and then you exhale it. And so, Ondine, you mentioned earlier breathing is a big part, and I think I talked to you about this in our like pre discussion like a few days ago, about the difference between taking a deep breath in, quick, like slowly, and letting it out quickly, and the difference between taking a deep breath in quickly and then letting it out slowly. Do you know the difference, like, and how that actually impacts your body? Because it actually has a physical reaction in your body, the two different ways of breathing.
Yes. Well, for one, breathing through your nose compared to breathing through your mouth.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's also,
Okay. Yeah. So you want to always, if you can, inhale through your nose. Exhaling through your mouth or your nose, it doesn't matter as much, but you want to inhale through your nose. So there's actually chemicals in your nose that when you inhale up through your nose, sends messages to your brain that you're safe. It's very simple, that you're safe. There's two ways our brain works. We're either safe or we're not safe. We're either being chased by bears or not chased by bears.
Yeah.
So that's a good one also if you're in an elevator or there's something going on and you're kind of a little tensed out. It's kind of like, oh, wait a second, is there a bear? No, there's no bear. We're good to go. So when we exhale slowly, it's the same idea. When we exhale slowly, we are telling the brain, it's just another message that tells the brain, it stimulates the opposite of the fight and flight, where we're running from the bear. Mm-hmm. It's the rest and digest, or the calming and rejuvenating the body. So when we exhale slowly, we are telling the mind that everything is okay, and we have the time to calm down. Yeah. So definitely the breath. Whenever we're focusing on the breath, we don't want to take this big crazy breath, because even I can see me, I look scared. Right?
I gotta run.
Right? And so being aware of the texture of your breath. Okay. But the inhale, not so important in that we have to force it, because the body takes care of itself. We will always inhale and we will always exhale until we take our last breath. Yeah. So the inhale is not something that you have to sort of think about right away, in the sense of just finding simple techniques. Mm-hmm. But the exhale is the gift. The exhale, in my opinion, is the gift. It's the grounding, right? We deflate, we let go, we soften. And the inhale, what's beautiful, the inhale creates space. The inhale creates space for that softening, for that releasing to take place. And similar to what Blanche was doing, the tension, right? Sometimes you need a little tension to soften. Yeah. So same thing with the poses, or certain breathing techniques do create some tension to allow the body to relax.
Okay. So Blanche, is this the same, like, is this a similar thing in Qigong? Because I noticed breathing, breathing was a very important part of what you just did, or what you just showed us. So how does that relate to everything?
The breathing, it's smooth, deep, slow, even. So those and expansive. So there was breath learned on different levels, but I just don't want to go into the head with that. Mm-hmm. It's really through practice that you're learning to do a movement, and at the same time learning to breathe with the movement. And like I said, I come from a background of dealing with moving from chronic pain to no pain. Okay, so the breath, and one of the things I learned, which is so amazing. So let's say you have wrist pain. Okay, many of you have wrist pain. Motorcycle riding, you know? Okay. So let's say you're moving your wrist and it starts to pull, hurt, or whatever. The breath, when you breathe at a sort where you hear yourself breathing, and you go around, you're doing circular motions, which you're doing circular motions. So you're approaching the area where it's a little bit sore, but you're kind of just going around it, and you're breathing out so you can hear the breath. So you're calming down and your body is relaxing. So you can go even closer and closer so that the pain dissipates. It's so cool.
So now neck pain. What about neck pain?
Neck pain. So if I'm doing a neck exercise, and I've had an accident, so I've had whiplash. Okay, so I understand neck pain. Okay, so if I'm going to breathe, again, you need to hear your breath, your exhale. So if I'm inhaling and I'm turning, I'm doing it at my own pace, so you have to make sure you're following your own range of motion and capacity, and you are just going very, very slowly. That's the other thing which you can't get: slow movement. It's movement medicine. It's very, very slow. And you're inhaling, and let's say you're approaching the zone. So it's. I feel like I've got a tight jaw when I'm doing this, but you are bleeding slowly, but you're listening to the bleed. You're listening to the sound of your exhale. Okay. And as you're approaching the territory that is tender.
Okay.
And this is a reset, because we've got patterns in the body that are painful because of whatever we've had happening to our body, and this is to interrupt the pattern. It's a pattern interrupt. Okay. The breathing with the movement, circular movement. So yeah, it's fantastic. I can't say enough.
So
I love how it's so different yet so similar. So in the yoga practice also, if you're not breathing, it's not yoga. When you're practicing the movements, I'm also a big fan of slower movements. But as you breathe and moving your neck, you visualize the breath moving into the neck. And we also, in the yoga practice, we have the Ujjayi breath, which also has the sound, the H sound, or the breath of the ocean, or some people will say the Darth Vader breath, where it's so yeah. So that
I don't know about the Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was like, ocean. I mean, come on, how many people have seen the ocean?
It works with the kids. The Darth Vader breath definitely works with the kids.
Yeah.
So all of that, it's quite fascinating how similar, yet they're different, yet they're both quite similar in the way of connecting body and breath. Mm-hmm. To become more aware of your body, to become more aware of your own being, who you are.
So I really like how you say, Ondine, about the visualization, because that's key. And that comes into mindset, where you put your mind into the muscle or mind into the body.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like when you eat dinner, very often, or lunch, we tend to now watch TV while we're eating, or talk on the phone, or look at our phone, and really it's not, we want our mind to know that we're eating. We want to digest not only through our digestive system, but we want our mind to tell our body that it's digesting. Yeah. So it's the same idea. It's like, or if, if you're fortunate enough or like massages, you get a massage, you get the massage therapist who likes to talk the whole time,
Yeah.
you miss it. Right?
I think that I've only gotten massages as part of physical therapy, as part of like doing that, and I was like, oh wow, it finally like clicked as to why people do it. I could not imagine someone trying to talk to me throughout that whole process. I would not be comfortable.
No. Yeah. And you also want to feel, it's an experience to self-study, learn what's going on in your own body.
Interesting. Okay. So we've been talking a lot and I want to keep talking about this. My son just like walked in the room wearing a onesie. And I was just like
what's a onesie?
Like a jumpsuit. And I was like, it's not his. So I was just trying to. Anyways, so it just was like.
And we can't see?
No, all right. Now you have to come
over
here.
Yeah, we can't see.
Everyone wants to see. This is my son. Hi. So he's wearing this jumpsuit. It's just, it caught me by surprise.
Nice color.
Coveralls. This is my son Xavier, everybody.
Hi.
This is his first time.
Nice.
We're live on Facebook.
Oh,
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Sorry for
interrupting.
Yeah.
It's all good. No big deal. All right. So we've been talking a lot about, this is the beauty of working from home, right? Is that we have our families are here and
love it.
There's no way around it. So we've talking a lot about things in practice. So I'm kind of thrown off here a bit. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions in the comments? Do you want to know more about something that Ondine and Blanche have been talking about? This is your chance to get two people who have your undivided attention, which I don't have right now. So if you want to ask, now's your chance. And I'm going to put this on the screen just so everyone is aware that my son is cute because he's pretty cool. So yeah, let's talk a bit about, so we've been talking a bit about like how to get into like a mindset where we're not in like incredibly stressful situations, but we just want to relax and like we need to like kind of get grounded or whatever. So let's talk about in a moment of crisis, because this happens. It can happen to everybody. It may not have happened to you or someone yet, but it might happen to you in the future. The example I like to give, and this is something that might come up for people in the next little while as we start to reintegrate into society and being closer to people because of COVID. Say you're in the metro and there are a lot of people close to you, and you start feeling incredibly anxious, you start feeling scared, you can feel people breathing on you. How can we kind of like calm ourselves in that moment? And this question has been answered by doctors. This is a question that comes up pretty regularly in our Facebook Lives. So I like to hear the different opinions of what people think, because I think there's all kinds of different ways to approach this. And there's no wrong, well, I'm sure there are quite a few wrong ways, but what would you recommend? Let's go with Ondine first, because Blanche went first last time.
So one thing about yoga, we tend to see it as a practice on the mat, and we tend to see people doing these funky poses.
Yeah.
And really that's just one part. There's many parts.
Yeah.
So one of the parts, breathing is part, but we discussed the breathing. There's also visualization that we discussed, but the idea in an uncomfortable situation is if you have your go-to. So if you have, the calm water, the memory of something that makes you happy, you go straight to that memory, and it's sort of in your toolbox. You say, okay, I need those tools. So what's my memory, my happiest memory of my life? Where do I remember being so happy? Mm-hmm. That's definitely a great one. And then there's also the mantra, which is a phrase or a quote, as simple as I am safe, I am at peace, I am at ease, that you repeat. Mm-hmm. And this repetitive action that you over and over, you can say 3 phrases, you can say, you can have your own phrase, anything. It really, it all works. Sometimes, for example, I have a song that I like to sing. It's, Soak Up the Sun from Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
And I know that. So I have my mantra that I've been saying, my same mantra. I say it every morning, on my mat, but I've set it off my mat. Okay. I have my visualization. I have my happy place that I can go to, and I have my my favorite song. So just as simple as your favorite song. It doesn't have to be a spiritual, fantastic, holistic, guided thing. It could be very, very simple as just a favorite song. And again, the idea about just saying to yourself, you're not being chased by bears, that right now, even though this feels like an uncomfortable situation, you know that it is fine. Yeah.
So it's basically like Peter Pan learning how to fly, right? Like it's the same thing. He's like thinks of his happy thought, and then all of a sudden he's like up in the air and flying. So it's like basically Peter Pan is a allegory for yoga practice.
Yeah,
that's
very much so. And many yogis, we don't grow up. We stay very young.
You stay young forever, right?
Yes.
That's the goal.
I'm 82.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe that for a minute. I'm just
in cat years.
Just putting that out there. So Blanche, same question for you. Someone's in a moment of panic and a moment of crisis, and I think you can approach this from a few different angles. So I'm interested in hearing what you would say.
So I'll go. Yeah, I'll go with the idea real versus imagined. Okay. Right? Like Ondine was saying, is it is it a snake or is it a stick?
Okay.
Type of thing. Whatever it is that's scary to you. So one really good technique of getting into your body and getting into the present moment is a 5-sense grounding technique.
Okay.
You look at 5 things that have the same color. You identify 5 things that have the exact same color. 4 things that you touch, that you can connect with touch. 3 things that you hear. You identify 3 things that you can hear.
Okay.
2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Okay. So that gets you oriented into the body. Now, if you're happening to be in public transport, well, you're going to need to connect to feel the chair underneath your butt. Okay. You're going to need to actually physically touch yourself to get grounded in the body. Yeah. You're going to need to caress yourself to feel.
Sorry, I'm writing these down and I'm going to put it in the comments. So it's 5 things you can see. 4 things that you can feel,
touch.
That you can touch. 3 things that you can hear. Okay. And then
2 things you can smell.
2 things you can smell, which on the metro could be interesting. 2 things you can smell.
And 1 thing you can taste.
1 thing you can taste. Okay.
Maybe it's your lunch.
It could be your lunch. It could be anything. Okay, perfect. I put that in the comments. I added 5 things you can see with the same color because that's the example you gave. But that's not. It doesn't have to be that.
Well, it is ideal for it to be that because then you are focusing and you're scanning, and because you're focusing and scanning, you're not maintaining the loop of getting caught in the panic. You've got a task to do.
You've got something.
So it's very
It's to break your fixation.
Yes, interrupt the pattern.
Yeah, interrupt the pattern. That's better than breaking a fixation. That sounds a lot nicer.
So that's 1.
Okay.
That nobody would know, right?
Yeah,
you can do it and nobody can tell.
Yeah. Like you're not going to be going
exactly
in the metro to calm down
until you get off the metro. Maybe
then you can do that outside in the grass.
Right. And I'm assuming, though, not to interrupt, but the chanting to yourself or the singing, it is in your own mind. Yeah. I'm not saying that in the middle of the metro to start singing. I mean, not that if you could and if you're comfortable with it, great.
That's fine.
But it is the idea of you hearing it in your own mind.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote that down because it was a good list. It's a list of things. So it's easy to sometimes also I know often people are like looking back at this and they're like, wait, what was the list? What was the first thing? Even when Blanche said two things, we couldn't remember the first thing. So
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one way in a public space where you're feeling awkward and you don't want to do. But if you are on your own and there's something going on that you got triggered, there's something called the polyvagal nerve, which is the central nerve running through the body, going down to your solar plexus or to your gut, your belly. Okay, so you need to put your hand there. You actually need to put your hand there, and then we're back to the breathing. No choice, you can't avoid it. Breathing is your way to get yourself grounded, but you're touching, and because you're touching, this is linking you to your brain.
Okay.
And through the polyvagal nerve, which is the central nervous system, which balances the sympathetic, parasympathetic.
Okay.
So the sympathetic is fight, flight, freeze. Parasympathetic is calm.
Okay.
And this is a very fast way. You can do this for 20 seconds even. Yeah. Taking a few deep breaths with holding your hand there, and that's going to start bringing you calming down.
Okay. I just did that, and all I was thinking was, man, I ate too much pasta like an hour. So we have two questions that I think are really good, and I appreciate you guys' response. I think those are like really great, concrete ways for someone to like bring themselves into like. And I really like what you said, Blanche, about that. I can't remember breaking. No. Not
into pattern interrupt.
Pattern interruption. It's like interrupting your pattern of like what you're doing, and I think that's a really good way of putting it. So there's a couple more scenarios that come up pretty regularly, I think, in people's lives, and so Hella has a good question. So like, say we've just received some really bad news, and it's not quite a panic, but it's definitely like we're unhappy. And like we're either crying or we just like don't seem to have control of our emotions, or we do have control of our emotions, but they're just not where we want to be in that moment, right? Like you're in the office at work, you just got a call, this terrible thing has happened. Okay, I need to calm down so I can focus on what I'm doing and then take action after I'm not acting in haste or whatever. So how do we like calm down after like a big letdown? What do you think would be a good approach for this?
Who is you?
Let's start with Blanche. Blanche, because Ondine went first last time. Sorry, guys. Right as I finished that, another comment came up that is really good, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta ask that one." So Blanche, you go first.
So here it's really about going into mindset.
Yeah.
There's something called cognitive distortions or negative thought patterns, and it's being able to identify, a thought pattern or an emotion. Because let's say you and I went under an MRI. I'm just going to go a sidetrack for a moment and then come back. Okay? And our brain got scanned. Each of us are different. We have different backgrounds, different life experiences, schooling, relationships. We two are female, you're male. There's a lot of differences, but we're human. Common ground, okay? We all speak English, another common ground, okay? So in the brain, what happens is that when you have a thought, it lights up in your brain, okay? This is scientifically proven, and chemicals are released. It creates an electrical charge. Chemicals are released into the brain and the bloodstream, okay, which go into the body and end up as emotion. From sensing, it becomes emotion, and the emotion matches the thought that originated it. Okay? So it's been proven that thoughts affect emotions, which affect your energy. And it's linear. So if you're having a negative thought, and then you are having a negative emotion, because that's how it happens, and it's in nanoseconds, that's going to do what to your energy? It's going to go down. And then you're going to loop into another negative thought, another negative emotion, it's going to go down. So you're going to start spiraling down. Same thing with positive. If you have a positive thought, positive emotion, the energy is going to start lifting. So it's very much using mindfulness and awareness to catch yourself in the act of thinking and observing what it is you're thinking. So if you're feeling sad because of a loss and you're feeling worried, okay, I'm worried right now. Okay, and where is worrying going to lead me? Worrying is leading me to thinking about something I don't want to happen. Yeah. Okay, and if I'm thinking about something I don't want to happen, I'm going to feel emotions about that, and not positive ones.
Yeah.
So it's the mindset. Cognitive behavioral therapy is like so strong in helping people to deal with mindset.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect. That's a great answer, Blanche.
Yes.
Ondine, what is your approach, do you think, for this? For I'm
going this way.
You're going this way, and then
what she said.
What she said. What she said. All right, so that's a good one.
But
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I will go back to the breath. So there's this technique called a pause practice, where you practice pausing throughout the day, and it's basically you take 3 breaths.
Yeah.
So a situation happens, and you can't deal with it. You don't have the choice but to deal with it at that moment.
Yeah.
So you take your 3 breaths. You pause. You inhale. You exhale. If you're not, maybe it's your first time, you're trying it tomorrow, and you've never consciously focused on your breath before, then this idea of making the sound, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you hear it, and you listen. So we're turning on the senses. We can feel it.
Yeah.
We can hear it. So we're, in some ways, distracting all the negativity, and we're bringing us into the present moment, because in the present moment we can't do anything about our situation. So we take those 3 breaths, and we move on to the task at hand. And those 3 breaths are something that can be done throughout the day, not only when something happens that you need to refocus, but throughout the day, just to bring you into the present moment, just to calm you down. I do feel that, unfortunately, we're at that mindset now that we always feel like little tiny dramatic things are happening to us. Our body's very tense throughout the day, as if something terrible has happened. It's not necessarily terrible, but again, our brain doesn't know the difference. Our brain only knows, is everything okay, and is everything not okay? So coming to the breath, those 3 breaths, very helpful.
It's interesting
Magically
to say that,
helpful,
because now we have this question. It's a bit long, so I'll kind of sum it up here. Julian's asking, so I think the very first sentence is really the key of this is it's, what if someone has a bad racing, worrying thoughts and just can't relax enough to breathe? And then he gives a really great example, and I think it ties into what you guys have been saying. And it's great because in this question, he's actually providing himself enough answers. And he says he swims, he rollerblades, he runs, does karaoke, and that relaxes him. And then whenever he's tried yoga or even go to a gratitude list out loud, he struggles to relax. But I think the answer might be right here in the next little bit here, is that when he's in the sand and the ocean at the beach, that brings his racing thoughts from his family from a 10 to a 2. And I think that's going back to what you said earlier, which is, where is your happy place? And so if you find yourself with these racing thoughts and all of these things, visualize yourself in this space that makes you happy, and it helps you be like, okay, I can feel the waves crashing, I can see them, I can feel the mist coming off of the ocean, and I can completely relate to these the ocean being thing. I grew up in Florida. The ocean is where I love.
Love.
It's like
same.
Me too.
You all grew up in Florida?
Yeah.
Wow. So I think that Julian, you answered your question by asking the question. You kind of gave us exactly what it is that calms you down, but also having to connect these things all together is the hard part.
And once you're calm, once you come into your happy place, then the breath will start, even noticing your breath will change.
Yeah.
And then maybe once you're ready, come into your breath.
Yeah. So
I mean, and then of course, there's always, there's movement. Inhale, very similar to what Blanche was doing. Inhale, arms up, exhale, arms down.
Yeah.
There's, but the happy place is, the visualization is important because, again, it's very simple. We're telling our brain, just like paying attention when you eat a meal. We're visualizing, our brain is saying, oh yeah, I know that space. That space has a memory. That space has an emotion. That emotion is triggering the calm in my body.
Yeah. So I
would like to add one more thing.
Yeah, Blanche, do it. Sorry, I'm like.
I just want to put as much as I can. I want to pack into this, because people will watch it. So one thing that I learned from Mark Waldman, who's into neuroscience, is that yawning really helps reboot the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the rational mind, which overrides the dinosaur brain, the emotional amygdala brain. So if you yawn, 3 deep breaths, the ones that make you want to cry, where the tears start coming at the edge of your eyes, 3 deep breaths like that. But the way he teaches it is that you yawn, you stretch slowly, and you caress yourself. The caressing is to get that, what do you call it? The oxytocin. What is in the body? Get the love, the caressing gets that hormone going. Mm-hmm. The stretching is slow, and the yawning. This is a perfect way. You know how you asked Tony about getting that jaw released. The yawning releases the jaw, gives your brain a reboot, and relaxes the rest of the body. And then one other thing I want to say is you actually put a smile on your face. If you can put a smile on your face, you can get the hormones starting to awaken just by putting a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Perfect. I have one more question, and I think we're gonna wrap it up after this because the time has flown by, which is fantastic. So this is Miles just is giving a thing here. It's so important to remember that with meditation, visualization, and breathing techniques, they take time and practice. Don't give up. Stick with it. The benefits are amazing. And related to that, Sonia is asking, what if you can't achieve all of this by yourself? What do you recommend? Therapy, a spiritual healer, journaling? How do we do this? It's incredibly intimidating. I will tell you outright, it will be a very long time before I have enough courage to get up and walk into a yoga studio. That's just my own inhibitions about it, my own feelings about it, my own holdbacks, and I'm sure there are other people like that. So how do you recommend this? Because it's intimidating. I'm walking into this space where all these people are theoretically fit and they're all in good shape and they all know what they're doing, and I'm walking in and I'm like, all right, where's the noise and the loudness and the anxiety inducing things going on right now? So
well, it depends on where you're going, first of all, because not everyone's in shape the way you're thinking. That's it's maybe more California. And so you have to be aware of what studio you're picking. One of the reasons why I have this home studio is I've been practicing in Montreal for 25 years. When I started, there were 2 studios. Okay. So I've watched the development. I've been to, not so much now as I'm older, but I've been to almost every studio within 25 years to, let's say, 10 years ago. Maybe even more. And so I've watched the development, I've watched the change. Mm-hmm. So you need to look for the right space for you. You need to ask the questions. What's the environment like? What kind of yoga do you teach? What are you, asking from your students, and what are you providing? Very important that your environment feels safe to you. Mm-hmm. I do believe, though, that you should have a guide. There are many, especially now, yoga stuff online, and that's wonderful. But again, you want to make sure that it's the right thing for you, the right fit, and you don't want to hurt yourself, especially if you're doing the physical
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
You don't want to hurt yourself. There's a lot of injuries if things aren't done well. So I'm more of an alignment-based teacher. I'm not a flow teacher. You know, it's not about going fast. It's about doing it well so that you can get the benefits. Your organs are in the right place. You move with your organs in the right place. Those organs get the benefits. So, you know, you want to ask the questions. There was something about journaling.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll put it back up on the
which
screen.
I think is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, journaling is great. Journaling, I'm on like especially since COVID, I'm on my 10th book, or no, not my 10th, I'm exaggerating, but it gets all the yayas out, you know, just get it out, right? All, you know, like the monkeys in your brain that don't want to quiet, you get it out, and it's very healing. And that's more personal, right? That's you and your journal. I mean, my journal is my own. Nobody sees my journal. It's my thing.
Blanche, what do you think about this question, and how did you approach the answer to this?
Well, for me, it's I go shopping. So Google is fantastic. There's so many YouTube videos out there where you can test and experiment different kinds of things for free, and see if it resonates with you. And then if you like an approach or a form, like Qigong comes in many forms, and Tony is going to put a Spring Forest Qigong as a reference, because they have free on YouTube Monday to Friday half-hour Qigong that someone's there guiding, and you follow. And each week it's the same thing, but a different person teaching the moves. So there are many forms of Qigong. I've learned a couple, okay? And I'm sure, Ondine, you know more than one style of yoga, right? You're probably familiar with several styles of yoga, you know? So it is to just kind of open up to the idea and follow your intuition. For sure, follow your intuition and let it guide you, and trust yourself. When something feels right, you will feel it, you will know it in your body, and then follow that, pursue that.
Yeah. Can I just say one more thing about like walking into a studio?
Yeah, please.
Doing this tonight, it was scary for me.
Yeah.
What we want to keep in mind is, you know, the other person next to you on the mat, for all you know, they're just as scared. I mean, people are hard on themselves. Yeah. So, you know, you kind of want to walk in with the attitude that we're all human and we're all going through our own thing. And deep down, we're all kind, and we want everybody in the room to be peaceful. You know, everyone has their story. Yeah. So even if they look really good in their Lululemon leggings, you don't know what happened. You know, you don't know what happened before they showed up, right? So it's important to sort of see that too, because I do know over the years the yoga studios have gotten, you know, that funny reputation, and it's become intimidating, where it's really a very welcoming environment, because it's also very much about community and support. Yeah. And I just want to say I've done Qigong a few times. I have a friend who does it very often, so I'll join her over the years, and I love it. Okay. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's calming. Yeah. And it's safe. It's very safe, especially for a beginner. It's very safe. Like, for example, maybe random is the wrong word, but something on YouTube, it's a very safe thing to follow.
Yeah. So I asked Blanche and Ondine, before we started this, what if they had any sites they recommended, and I just put up 3 comments and of what their recommendations were. So those will be in the comments. They're not going anywhere. You'll be able to see them. One was the Spring Forest Qigong. One was the YogaAlliance.org, and then the other one was John Kabat-Zinn's guided meditation that he has on YouTube. So that is up. I just want to say thank you so much. Like, our hour is up, but thank you so much, Blanche and Ondine. Ondine, I will My pleasure. It right. I really appreciate you guys giving your insight, and like, I know I was like a little hesitant in the beginning about like approaching this subject, but I really think you guys did a really good job of just like explaining it in a way that like makes sense and that makes it inviting and welcoming, and is just like the opposite of what my initial impressions are of both of these things, of all of this sort of like schools of thoughts of like everything like that. That's just not my like bad cup of tea, I guess you could say. But I think you guys did a really great job of like opening my eyes a little bit more to like being a little more willing to like reach out to all of this.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so we have
I do want to close by saying that for me,
everyone gets their last word. So
being on the back seat of the motorcycle, because I'm not the driver, I'm the passenger.
Yeah.
For me, that is a meditation. I'm just like in seventh heaven riding. So
yeah.
That's
so if you have a friend with a motorcycle,
getting in nature, go outside.
Motorcycle.
Nature. That's go for a ride, go for a walk, breathe. Or I don't mean breathe. Feel the breath. I mean inhale the
like just
fresh
breathe.
Air. Smell. Turn on those senses. Feel the leaves.
Yes. So
nature is very healing.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. You asked some really great questions and asked some insightful things and just gave some good scenarios that were like real, and I think that really helps us and helps other people who maybe were afraid to ask questions. And so after all of this, probably sometime tomorrow, I will be posting Ondine's website on the description of the video. So if you're watching it tonight, I'll probably do it after this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna get in my computer and look at my email and post it right there and edit the description of the video so you have that right away. Thank you, Ondine. Thank you, Blanche. And good night, everybody. And I will see you next time. We're going to be talking about... I don't remember. I don't remember what our next video is, so you'll just have to check our calendar and see.
I guess so. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I think...
Give me a second. Next one.
Oh, we're talking about Kaleidoscope. We'll be talking about the Kaleidoscope support group, which is a support group that is open for all diagnoses. And we're just going to be talking with Marty, who is one of the facilitators. He's the primary facilitator of Kaleidoscope. And if you're interested in getting a new name for Kaleidoscope, we are open to any recommendations you've got. So it makes a little more sense for what we've got going on. So tune in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about that with Marty. And thank you again. And I will have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.